making the decisions that are shaping how companies impact the world. In each episode, we sit down with the thought leaders who are proving that building successful businesses and also building a better future don't have to be in conflict. I am your host, Jeff Davis. I'm co-founder of Circulans, which is one of the fastest growing digital product passport companies in the world. And our special guest today is María Camila López.
It's long, yeah.
It's great to have you here. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yes, welcome. Well, leadership today isn't just about performance, it's about responsibility. So let's get into it. And I'm curious, what was your very first, oh, wow, I see a problem moment as far as, environmental concerns?
I want to start before going into the question with who we are. We are Juan Valdez. Juan Valdez is a Colombian coffee brand. It's a Colombian coffee premium brand. We were created back 2002 to generate value to the shareholders who are coffee growers. We are owned by the National Federation of Coffee Growers, which is a not-for-profit organization who groups more than 550,000 coffee producers. So I think it's very important to start with this because all our business is intended to generate value to these communities that are mostly small producers that owns no more than 5 hectares, 96% out of total of them. Wow. So I think it's very important because everything that we have been conceiving in terms of sustainability has been tied to the idea of generating value to these communities and how we are facing also challenges like climate change, for example, that it's really impacting the coffee production around the world, and how we are making sure that we are sustaining also these communities and making sure that they have a fair transition in terms of climate. This is something that we are doing as a whole, like institutional framework, not just by ourselves as a company, but also with our owners. And I think I want to start with that because obviously we own more than 600 coffee shops around the globe. We have presence in 23 countries. So obviously we have a lot of impacts. We have a lot of responsibility in all those operations, but I would like to start with that impact that goes directly to the producers, which is very significant and we acknowledge that we need to address. So
that's amazing. I love that you did that. Thank you. What's something about corporate sustainability that you think outsiders just don't understand?
I think there are two main things. One is that when people don't know exactly what corporate sustainability means, they believe that this is something about waste money and about being really far away from the business. And I think that's totally wrong. And I have seen this for 10 years now that I have been leading the sustainability strategy here at Juan Valdez. What I have been seeing is how this is perceived sometimes, or not anymore, at least here. But when I arrived here back in 2016, definitely it was a way of seeing sustainability, like something that was not part of the business, but more adjacent to it, and was something that was really
internally?
a waste of time. Yeah, even internally. But I think it was more a cultural, corporate mindset that was here, not just from internally, but also external. I think maybe it took us longer than in other countries in Colombia to realize, in the Global South, to realize that this is a big thing,
Was there one main big thing that some of the more corporate type of businessy people maybe rolled their eyes over when you first pushed for more sustainability?
Yes. I remember that when I start to speak a lot about communities and how we could portray with our products, the coffee packaging products, how we could portray the communities such as youth, women, that was something that people didn't like at the beginning, very, very early stages. And I even remember that they were complaining that these kind of initiatives were very tactic, but at the end, it took a lot of effort and a lot of resources. I think that was a very important moment of keep going and no hesitate, despite that people didn't feel really prone to it. And it's funny because when you ask this, I just remember this talk that I had with someone here regarding my program Mujeres Cafeteras, which is focused on women coffee producers. Just to give a context, they represent more than 30% in the coffee production in Colombia. And in 2017, back in 2017, I proposed to launch like a product exclusively sourced by them. At that moment, there was this like rolling eyes, like, oh, this doesn't make sense. This is going to be a waste of money. And now we have one of the most iconic and important product lines, 100% sourced by women. It has presence in 20 countries. It has brought to the business more than $4 million. So I think it's super, super relevant as this program has been evolving. Now it's like a signature for our brand. To understand how this has been evolving is also to be resilient and to understand that sometimes people don't even understand and realize what it comes after that. But if you keep pushing, then results come
I
right
love
away.
that. Awesome. Do you ever feel like you have to sort of sell sustainability to the board?
Many times.
Yeah.
Many times. And I think it's interesting because at the beginning it was like, this is so difficult, like I remember because obviously I started in a very like middle managing position. It was like I got here as a manager, but in a very like middle position, not very influential, let's say. And I start to grow. And when I got to a more like influential position where I could go into the board and talk to them directly, at the beginning it was really challenging because they didn't get. There was like these two situations. First, they didn't get much of what we were doing, and second, they were considering this as well like very small. But it was a very interesting process. I think it was a matter of bringing a lot of education on this, of teaching them about sustainability in a very like wise way, not imposing anything, but rather like showing them how this could turn into a competitive advantage for the business, and showing also because we have a very ambitious expansion plan in a global way. So it was showing how we needed to move forward in order to adjust to the market, like to the necessities of the market and to the competitors globally. So it was a very interesting journey. I think it's still going, it's something that I have to work on every day. But now definitely the board is totally aligned with this. We follow the KPIs, not every board, but we have some defined boards for this. We have a committee from the board that is focused on sustainability, and there are really good practices that has been helping us to make sure that this is not just part of the business, but also to make sure that when we are taking decisions surrounding, I don't know, like regarding suppliers, regarding the following steps in our expansion strategy and so on, we also have sustainability in mind, and that's really valuable.
Was there a certain like specific point when sustainability started becoming a growth strategy itself?
Yeah, I think there were like two main things. One was when we became B Corp certified. We decided back in 2018, I think we went to this global meeting for the B Corp certificate, B Corp like movement in Chile. And then we realized that there was a really trustable and reliable way of proving that we were a sustainable company and we wanted to do things in the right way. So we start to work on the sustainability certification with B Corp, and we end that by 2021, we certify as a B Corp. And last year we just recertified. And I think that has been very important because I don't know, guys, if you know, but the B Corp certified companies, we need to make sure that this goes to the highest level of the decision-making authority for the business. In our case, was the general meeting of the shareholders, the annual meeting, and they had to approve this certificate. And also this has to go in our legal documents. So we could, like it was a state that our business has a social and environmental purpose more than just a financial one. So that was like a big deal because that was a moment where we all agreed that definitely we needed to put this into the core strategy. And the other moment that I will say was when we launched back in 2024, we launched the sustainability goals for 2030. And I think that was
Wow.
super important because it was a turning point, like it was okay, we are gonna commit to these different goals in different dimensions, social, environmental, and with the value chain and international. So it was very important because from that point onwards, we have been working every moment towards those goals, and we make sure as a company that we always keep in mind in the way that we are building business, we are growing, that we are finding new ways of being competitive. We want to make sure that those goals are always on the track. So I think those two moments were really, really relevant.
Yeah, thank you. That was well said. What legacy do you want to leave, I guess, as an organization and you personally in your role in sustainability?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. I think that in a personal level, let me start by taking this personally, which is a beautiful question. How to serve the world, I think that there is a beautiful way of seeing business far beyond the making money and profit, which is super important. And I love capitalism, don't get me wrong. But I believe that there is a very good way of doing it. And by doing it by heart, like with a purpose, with a clear purpose of generating value, not just to the shareholders, but to all stakeholders, is really important and meaningful. And I do believe in conscious capitalism. I do believe in this new way of doing business as B Corps, as half the state. And I do believe that if we are much more inclusive, much more diverse in the way that we are conceiving businesses, definitely we are getting much more reward for all of us. So that's like my personal journey, how to make sure that I serve others. I serve people that are under really vulnerable conditions as well, how we turn business into a force of good, as the bigger movement say, for me is super important. And I think taking it into the corporate side, we have been trying to do exactly that. How we make sure that this business it keeps growing, keeps making profit and EBITDA and everything bad. Obviously, with keeping in mind that we are more than just a company for making money. We are a company for generating value to all those communities that are back in our territories through the whole country. There are 30% out of them are under the poverty line. We have a lot of conditions. I don't know, guys, if you have an idea, but in Colombia, there are a lot of conflict, internal conflict in territories, in rural regions. So definitely we hold a lot of responsibility, and we must to make sure that everything that we do at the end goes to benefit these communities. And also, obviously, we are also responsible for our consumers, how we are taking products that are traceable, how we are taking products to their shelves that are really, that they know where they come from, that they own a story, that they know that the packaging can be recyclable or can be compostable when they go to the coffee shops, and how we are trying to engage them as well in initiatives of circular economy to bring some conscious around things that maybe for them are a little bit I don't know, unattended, let's say. So yeah, definitely, I believe that it's a very integral view of how we make sure that we are serving to all our stakeholders.
Wow. That's great. If you had 60 seconds with every single Fortune 500 CEO, what would you say?
I will say that let's understand how your business can bring positive value to the world. And I promise that if you do that, your business it's going to be much more competitive than your competitors. And you're going to make this much more profitable because if you start to think in a more ambitious and long-term way, you're gonna find this amazing opportunity that maybe for the short-term vision you are unseen.
What does sustainability leadership mean to you in one sentence?
How to serve in a very practical way.
Oh, that's great. And
Yes.
last question, finish this sentence. The companies that will win in the future are the ones that
transform quickly with innovation and sustainability.
Awesome. Awesome.